All right.
All right. So welcome. I'm Shawn Barklow, coming from Florida, and let's get this party started.
I guess Shawn wasn't sharing his sound. I guess he wasn't sharing his sound. That's okay. It just goes to show that you don't have to be perfect.
All right. Well, I don't know if you could hear it. I couldn't hear anything, but you got the gist from all that. If you could read real quick. I'm Shawn Barklow. I'm guest hosting for Callie, who is in Ireland, playing some golf, seeing her fighting Irish. And I got introduced many years ago, and I used our mechanism for promptings with in my mortgage business. It was a way that I could just stay in touch with my clients. And then I really got bitten by the prompting bug when I started doing individual cards, and I would see those cards at people's offices or at their homes. And that's when it became my passion, and still is today, 15 years later. So, but enough about me. I really want you to hear it from our founder, Cody Bateman. The story you're going to hear is the story I heard 16 years ago, and that's really why I'm here today. So, Cody, take it away.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cody Bateman. I'm the founder of the Promptings movement. Appreciate you being with us tonight. I want to share with you a couple of stories. One is how this whole thing started in the first place and what our mission is and what we plan to do to change this world of ours by helping millions of people act on their promptings. We hope that you're one of them. So it all started back in 1989. I accepted a job offer. I just graduated from college and accepted a job offer to work for an ad agency in New York City. So when we accepted that job, we packed up all of our belongings. I was newly married at the time, had a little baby girl. We packed up all of our belongings, put it in a U-Haul truck. We were driving this little car of ours in front of the U-Haul truck. And we went over to my mom and dad's house to stay by the family. So we said our goodbyes. And I remember coming out in the front of my parents' home, and we got into the car and we put little baby Whitney in her car seat, and Jody got into the passenger side, and I went to get into the car. And as I went to get in, I looked over in a lot adjacent to my parents' home. My older brother, Chris, was moving some vehicles around in this lot. And at that moment, I had what I call a prompting, an intuitive thought that I needed to stop what I was doing, go over to my brother, give him a hug, tell him I love him, and say goodbye. That was the prompting. And we were in a hurry. There were people waiting for us. There was another couple that was moving with us that was driving the U-Haul truck. And we all needed to leave. And so what do you think happened? I ignored the prompting. I remember getting in the car and driving away, and I honked and waved at my brother as we drove off, and he waved back at me. I'll never forget the look on his face. And we drove away, and we drove all the way across the country, moved into our new home in New York City area. And a couple of months went by and everything was going well until one night I got a phone call about 2:00 in the morning. And my mother was on the other end of that line, and she tearfully let me know that my brother Chris had just been killed in an accident. Now, that was devastating news. In fact, I remember when I got that news, the first thing I thought of is that I had this prompting that I needed to say bye to him, and I ignored it. So at that very moment, I made a promise to my brother Chris, to myself and to my brother Chris. I said to him, I said, I'm sorry, brother, that I ignored that prompting. And I promise you that when I have promptings to reach out in kindness to others, I will act. And I'll do all I can to help as many people as I can do the same thing. That was in 1989. Excuse me. That's when this whole thing started. That was the dream that was put into my mind at that moment. And everything I did from that day forward was to figure out how to deliver the promise. I needed to act on my promptings. I needed to help other people act on their promptings. Now, keep in mind, this is a long time ago. This is in 1989. It was even pre-internet days. We didn't even have the internet back then. So the concept and idea that I had was I had to find a way to help people act on their promptings. And I knew that for myself, the way for me to express myself, my appreciation, my kindness to others, it was a lot easier for me to write those things. Like if I wrote somebody a message in a card, it was a lot easier for me to express myself in a card than it was verbally. So I figured early on that whatever I did, it was going to have something to do with greeting cards, because a greeting card was a simple way for me to act on a prompting. If I had a prompting to say thank you to somebody, I could quickly send them a card with the words of kindness in them. So I started doing all kinds of things pre-internet days to try to figure out how to do that. You can't even imagine the things that we tried to do, but this thing called the internet came along. And when the internet came along and I saw the possibilities of the internet, the light bulb went on that, man, if there was a way that you could send a real greeting card over the internet. So if I could call up the internet and pick a card and type in a message and click it, and somehow it went over the internet to a printer and the printer would print it and send it for me, man, that would be cool. So we went on a long journey to try to figure out how to do that. We actually pioneered the technology that calls for through the internet for variable print on demand on printers. Nobody had done that before us. And we did that back in 2001 to 2001 and 2. So we finally had created what I call a mechanism. We created a mechanism to help people act on their promptings. And what it was is the mechanism allowed me as a person to go onto the internet, onto the mechanism, and choose a greeting card and be able to type a message into the greeting card and then put in an address for that person and push the send button. And then over the internet, it would go to our printers. We would stuff it, stamp it, and mail it out for you. And we started doing this way back in 2002 was when we first started doing this over the internet. Nobody had done it before. So it was a powerful mechanism. In fact, once we had the mechanism to do this, I wanted to start changing my habits and other people's habits. The habit I wanted to create was I sent cards to people every single day. So one of the habits that I had was is that the first person I thought of, I would send a card to. And I'm going to share a story about this card right here. So I got up one morning and my habit was first person that comes to mind. Well, the first person that came to mind that day was a lady by the name of Pat Chase. She does the music at the church I went to. So I went to my mechanism that we had created. We had about, I don't know, maybe 100 saved greeting cards in there. And this was one of them. And it says beauty on the front. So I picked this card. It says beauty on the front. And inside it said things are beautiful if you love them. So I want you to watch the words that I wrote in this card to Pat Chase, who does the music at the church. So right from my computer over the internet, I typed these words. I said, Pat, just a quick note to let you know I appreciate what you do for us at the church. You make music beautiful, and I'm a better person for it. Your friend, Cody. That's simple. And I clicked the send button and sent it off to her. Now, I want to explain to you what happened when she received the card. A couple of weeks went by and I show up at church and she comes up to me and says, Cody, first of all, I want to thank you for this card you sent me. And I want to tell you what happened the day I received it. She says, I got up in the morning and I went into the front room of my house. I was going to pick up the receiver of the telephone, my intent was to call the leader of the church to let him know that I was no longer going to do the music of the church. She said, I don't remember a time when somebody thanked me for the service I provided. The only thing I got were complaints as to why I didn't play this music or that music. She says, and I was really frustrated. And so I was about to quit. She said, but something told me to go get the mail first. Now we know that that's called a prompting. She was prompted to go get the mail first. So she did. She hung up the receiver of the phone, did not make the phone call. She went out to her mailbox. The only piece of mail on a Thursday morning was this card. She opened up the envelope from her mailbox, read this card that you're looking at. She says, Cody, I want you to know that I was at my mailbox and I openly wept, she said. And I want you to know that when I went back in the house, I did not place the phone call. And I'm not going to place the phone call. I will keep doing the music of the church, and I will never, ever, ever forget you for how you made me feel with that card. Thank you very much. That's the power of acting on promptings.
So when I heard that story the first time, 15 years ago, the whole room didn't get up after that story was played. I mean, that's how powerful that was, and that's how powerful acting on your promptings can be. And you saw with one card to that woman that Cody sent it to her at his church that she drastically changed, going to quit. Now I'm not because of what you did, and I never will. So promptings, acting on your promptings, appreciate others, track prosperity. Promptings are intuitive thoughts that call to action, call you to take a positive action. We all have them every day. Some of us are more in tune to them than others. It does really create genuine connections and guide your personal genius. Like I said, it's a passion of mine now, and I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for Cody's story and promptings. The best way to do it, as Cody said, is our mechanism, send out cards. Send out cards is a great app website. You can, when you think of somebody, quickly pick a card, put into words that we really should be saying to people. And like Cody said, a lot of times it's easier for us guys to write it down and hit send and go, okay, versus telling somebody face to face. So we have two great guests tonight. First up, we have Joan. Joan, can you come on? And she's going to share some card stories. Welcome, Joan. Great to have you on tonight. Wow. Excited to hear your stories. So take it away. It's all yours.
Hey, thanks, Shawn. My first story is that I belong to a business networking group that meets weekly. And our goal is to learn about each other's businesses in order to make good referrals to them. And we also share helpful information. So at a promptings event last month, I was introduced to a wonderful graphic that I decided to share with my group. Well, the promptings mechanism allows me to create one card quickly to send to an entire group of people with very few keystrokes, okay? So I just chose the front of this card from the card catalog. You are the very best, and they are. Then on the inside, I added the graphic and then a note with a personal salutation. And our mail merge feature allows us to pick up the name from the contact manager. So the note says, "Dear," insert first name, "I'm not concerned about my energy level on Thursday mornings because you and the rest of our BNI family keep the energy in the room high. I'm so grateful for this push that I sometimes need to get going. On other days, I find it helpful to check in with myself using this chart. And when my energy falls below the midpoint, I can pause to identify what's going on and take my action to move back above the line. This is part of Promptings training, thought I would share. And you'll see it's signed Joan. And you can see that that is actually my own handwriting, which is part of my personal font. So that's exciting. And several people who have received this card let me know that it's displayed on their desk, on their refrigerator, whatever, and that they do refer to it and are using it now. Going to my second card is a very simple, heartfelt card that was created to capture a moment in time. Toward the end of her life, my mom was physically active and experienced joy in every moment, but sadly her memory was failing her. So this card is a photo of her taken when we went to lunch at a marina, and the message on the back simply noted the occasion, and it does say, Moth and Lizzie, to my family, I'm Lizzie. A few days later, when Mom received the card, she opened it and then she smiled and said, I don't remember this, but I sure look happy. So with one card, we were able to recreate a moment of joy for her. All right, next card is a card to myself, okay? And another piece of the Promptings to Prosperity training is creating a vision card, okay? So this is more than just photos and cut out letters on a board. We were encouraged to capture the feelings that are evoked from living the vision statement. So in this case, the statement is, I am living in the dream home that Mark and I envisioned. And the photos are actually of a model home that we visited. This is not a real home yet, but describing the feels in the vision make the card more real. So I'm actually, I can't see the screen, so I'm actually going to read from my actual card here. It says, I am living in the dream home that Mark and I envisioned. It sits near a hilltop and catches the morning sun in the kitchen. I look out on a sweeping view and hear the soothing sound of a stream below. It is neither too big nor too small. My home is just the right size for me and my quilting frame. I have plenty of space to gather family and friends. I see them in my kitchen and on my welcoming wide deck that is sheltered from the afternoon sun. I live comfortably in my accessible home, ready for aging in place. My car is parked in the attached garage. This is a place of gathering, laughter, and love. I hope that you all have a chance maybe to work on your visions and how they will make you feel when you're actually experiencing them. So thanks, Shawn, for this
Hey,
opportunity.
thanks, Joan. I love the mom card. That's great. I'm sure that has a spot in your heart. But I loved how promptings can be about us too, and to motivate us and put us in a great state of mind. So, Joan, thank you very much for sharing. Those are awesome stories. So, up next we have Jill Katzenberg. Jill is from my home state of Ohio, and she is going to share some awesome card stories. So, Jill, welcome. Take it away.
Okay, thanks, Shawn. So thank you so much for allowing me to share just 3 stories today. And I am so excited to share these because it was acting on a prompting that I did something a little different each time, and it seemed to make a big impact. So typically I scroll, I'm sure we all scroll for Instagram or Facebook, and came across this wonderful little photo of Miss Roya, who was a newborn of some friends of mine. And I had a prompting to take that little photo, put it in a card, and instead of sending the card to the parents, I wrote a heartfelt note to Roya. And it was so easy for me to do because all I said was, we do not know each other yet, Roya. However, I look forward to meeting you when your parents and sisters show you off. I am so excited for you because you are now part of an amazing, loving family, and the world is your oyster. Big hugs. And so what I did with that card is I attached one of our wonderful stuffed animal gifts that are in the gifting department, clicked the send card button, and a few days later, little Roya got her first card and her first gift in the world. And her parents went crazy. They went out of their mind. They were so happy. The second card that I had a prompting to send was when I was again scrolling. Do you see a pattern here? Scrolling on Facebook and came across my friend Eileen's new pet, Miss Molly. Well, I had a prompting to take this photo, put it on a postcard, and send it to not my friend, but to Miss Molly, saying, I can't wait to see what good trouble you get into in the future. You are totally loved by your new family, no matter what you try. How cool, work it. Hashtag fridge worthy. Well, the long and the short of it is, Miss Molly, 8 months later, looks nothing like this cute little photo. She's about 3 times the size. However, the postcard is still on the refrigerator. The third example of what I'd like to share is really a surprising card that I will be sending on forever and ever, because when I got a half-year birthday card from our friend Miss Callie T. Garden, I said, I'm going to create a half-year birthday card and send it out to the people in my sphere. Well, the beautiful thing is, as you notice, there's no personal picture, there's no date, there's a way for you to capture the name on the card, but other than that, you can have the system send it out, and the people who receive it are so crazy excited about my remembering their birthday, where in fact the prompting system remembered to send it out in time, and they're just over the moon about getting recognized for this. So I'm so grateful for the chance to use the mechanism every single day to reach out in kindness, and it's just a whole lot of fun. So it's addictive. I will let you know that. So Shawn, thank you so much, and take it away.
Jill, thank you. Yes, we all become Facebook stalkers, but in the best way when we're looking to act on our promptings. I think we all that. And I love those stuffed animals when somebody has a new baby. And I love that you sent it to the child. You're creating new users in 18 years. So fantastic. Last thing I want to cover before I'm going to let all of you go is we have several ways to use the mechanism. If you haven't heard, we have a 10-card challenge, and this thing is just, we're bringing on hundreds a day, and it's a great way to just try us out. You get 10 cards, it's $20, stamps are included, and you can send those to anybody in the world, and we say 11 people will be affected because you're going to get impacted by sending 10 cards to people that you care about and saying the things you should. We have 2 of the prompting mechanism. We have 2 heartfelt subscriptions. These again are for the 1-to-1 cards. If you love the 10-card challenge, get back with a person. They'd be happy to show you how to do the subscriptions. These are acting on your promptings, whether it's a few a month or unlimited a month. And then we have the prompting process package, which includes the 97 unlimited. It includes a virtual assistant. It includes 100 system cards, and that's what Jill was talking about with her birthday card. And then we have other card packages beyond that. So again, get back with the person that invited you to this webinar. They'd be happy to show you the entire process, more information, answer all your questions. And remember, when you're acting on your promptings, it is never just a card. Everybody have a great night, and we'll talk with you soon. And just let me be the first to say, we're excited to have you on here.
Hey, Shawn, real quick, since
Yeah.
since I messed up the initial video with the sound, why don't we finish with that?
Perfect. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, here we go. Thanks, Shawn. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Here we go.
Perfect. What a great way to end. Everyone have a great
All
night.
right.